Bonsoir. Welcome to Going Deeper with Vocabulaire 11. Very first thing I want to tell you is from here on, it is easy peasy. Most of the vocabulary words are going to be nouns, places, things, occupation, because you've learned the grammar rules and you know the sounds. You've done your speech drills. If you have problems with forms of the, you go to lesson 2. If you're like the adjective noun rule, you go to lesson 4. If you're having a problem with your tenses, you look from lesson 7 through 10. From here on, basically, there's sometimes we're going deeper with vocabulary. There's not much. There's some more cultural tips because I want to make sure you don't lose those. That you know when to say something, when not to say something, and why we use certain words in certain ways. So let's look at the very few. Literally, there are just 7 of the vocabulary words that I want to go deeper with. So the very first one is esque. Now we spoke about esque in leçon 6. The thing to remember is this is used when the answer to a question will be oui, non, or a choix, or a choice. So if you're asking a question that is not a who, what, when, where, why, which question, that means you can use esque because what you then would want is for someone to answer with yes, no, or a choice. So I could say to you, vous voulez manger? You want to eat? Répétez. Vous voulez manger? So you're going to tell me either oui or non. But I can also say, vous voulez manger griot ou bien lambi? Do you want to eat deep fried pork or conch? Répétez. Vous voulez manger griot ou bien lambi? Very good. So this is the choice. So that is basically how esque is used. In English, sometimes you could say, do you want to go out? Or you could say, you want to go out? In Creole, it's the same way. You don't have to use esque. You could say, vous voulez manger? Or, est-ce que vous voulez manger? You can do that. I just want you to know what esque means so when you hear it, it doesn't take you aback and how to use it, okay? The next word is femme. Femme is French for woman. So we do use it. We use fille most of the time, especially for younger women, because it means female, referring to a woman of marrying age. As you learned in the first lesson, we would say madame. But femme, you want to be careful with because a man who's not married will call a woman he's in a relationship with his femme. A man who's married and is possibly in a relationship with another woman would call that woman his femme. So if I wanted to say all the women that are here stand up, I could say toute femme qui l'a campé. Répétez. Toute femme qui l'a campé. If I wanted to say, where's his woman? So like, where's dude's woman? You know, monsieur. Cote femme monsieur. Répétez. Cote femme monsieur. So I abbreviated côté, where, and just say côte, which we know we can do, okay? Côte femme li, where is his woman? I know in English that sounds really rough, but culturally it's understood culturally, okay? So the next word is fek. I know that a lot of people will say, okay, wait, fek means just. I want you to think of it as fek means recently, because in Creole you could say in English you can say I just went. But you can also say as in justice, that was not just. So it has 2 different meanings in English. In Creole, it does not. It just has that one meaning, recently. Like, I just ate. Moi fek manger. Répétez. Moi fek manger. If I want to use the just as in justice, and I want to say that is not just, as in that is not right. I would say ça pas agisse. Répétez. Ça pas agisse. So JIS is the justice, right? Like that's not right. Ça pas agisse. Okay? So sounding like feck is the one that ends with the T, fet. Now, fet is a noun. Fet is a noun. It can mean birthday. So if I want to say, when was he born? It is also fet. Fet means born. So it's a noun and it's a descriptor. Okay, so if I want to say, what day was he born? Qui joue les fêtes? Répétez. Qui joue les fêtes? Now, if I want to use it as the noun, as birthday, and I want to say today is my birthday, I would say jeudi a c'est fête moi. Répétez. Jeudi a c'est fête moi. Now, if I want to say let's party, here's a word that goes with fête. Fêter, no accent. E. Fêter. F-E-T-E. Fêter. And I want to say let's party. Unfêter. Répétez. Unfêter. Let us is un nous. A-N. Un nous. But we contract it to un. I'm sure you've heard people say, let's go. En aller. Répétez. En aller. But if I want to say, let's party, I would say, unfêter. Unfêter. So fêter is not the noun party. It is the verb to party. If you want to say they are having a party, you would use the word fête. F accented ET can also mean party, the noun. I'm going to a fête. Okay? So now the word occupé, I want to go there because even though there's that square on the paper that lets you know how to use it, when not to use it, I understand that it can be confusing. So I want you to look at it as not just the word that you understand, occuper, to occupy. Cut dry sounds like English. Also occuper, to be busy. I'm busy. Moi occupé. Répétez. Moi occupé. I'm busy. But it can also means like not to let yourself be bothered by something. So if someone comes to me and they are trying to stress me out and really bother me, I could say, I'm not going to pay attention to you. Moi pas occupé. Répétez. Moi pas occupé. That means I am not going to pay attention to you. Basically is what I'm saying. Now, if I wanted to say, I am not going to let you stress me out, I'm going to say, moi pas quito inquiéter. I'm not going to let you, moi pas quiteo, annoy me, as in trouble me, as in stress me out. Inquiéter. Témoin. Inquiéter. Inquiéter is E-N-K-Y-E-T-E. Répétez. Inquiéter. Inquiéter. Moi pas quitter ou inquiéter. Very good. That's a really difficult Creole word, so excellent job. Now, if I want to tell someone something like, I'm too busy, again, it's occupé. Occupé means to be occupied, which means to be busy. It's the same thing. It's a synonym. But if you want to say, I'm not going to let you trouble me, inquiéter. I'm not going to pay attention to you, occupé. Okay? So now the sixth one that I want to talk about is the word pito. This is one where it does not carry over the same way as English. English, it could mean favorite, it could mean to prefer. I want you to think of pito as to prefer or rather. I'd rather go. Moins pito aller. Répétez. Moins pito aller. So what's happening here is I'm saying I prefer to go. If I want to say my favorite, like what I would more, my favorite color is blue. Moi pito bleu. What this really means is I more prefer. I more rather. Blue. Répétez. Moi pito bleu. Moi pito bleu. We don't say my favorite color is blue because we don't have the word favorite. We would say I more prefer. I more rather blue. This is very important because the syntax, remember that word? The sentence structure is different. My favorite color is blue would be moi pito couleur bleu. Couleur bleu. But we don't say that. We don't even put couleur in there. We would just say I more rather blue. Moi pito bleu. I don't want you to think that pito just means favorite. I want you to think like a Haitian. Don't think of the word favorite. Think of more rather, more prefer, because it is the meaning of the word favorite and not the actual word favorite. The last one that I want you to look at is twop. Now, twop and toi mean the same thing conceptually. So if I want to say this kid is just too much, like they're just too much to handle, I would say petite sa trop. Répétez, petite sa trop. Like they're being silly and comical, and I'm like, they are too much. So I want you to look at the word twop as too much. Anytime in English you would say too much, I want you to say twop. But if you're ever just going to say too, T-O-O, too, I want you to say toi. In English, we would put T-O-O, too, in front of an adjective, okay? So if I wanted to say, this is too big, ça trop gros. Répétez, ça trop gros. So if I want to say, I work too hard, moi travaille trop dit. So basically, you are putting the gros before a descriptor, before an adjective. You are putting toi after a subject. And that's how you know toi is too much. Toi is too, T-O-O. That's the big difference between the two. All right, go ahead, download this video, like it when you are done watching it and you've downloaded it. This helps you to remember you've already seen it and you've already downloaded it. Now, our next video, we're going to go over some cultural tips for les 111. Au revoir.